Well, it looks like they found Bill Cosby not guilty, and he's supposed to be really sick and suffering. But the thing I really disdain about his actions was that it was mostly young teenage girls, and you know you always hear that like, oh well, he has a family. Like the female didn't come from a family, you know. And females have a lot more to lose. But not only mentioning STDs, because they're not, you're unconscious, and he's just having sex with different people unconscious. We don't know if he's using a rubber, but you have to take chances of pregnancy. Um, in which he did have proven that he had a child out of wedlock. There was a thing, I think it was Lisa Bonet, where she ended up getting off the show, and he was calling her all type of, saying she was too promiscuous and all this. She, and because like the people that won the suit against him had a gag order, so they couldn't testify anyway. And I would think that if the time limit is up for them to do the crime, they should be able to talk on it. So I really don't know how that goes. What are they gonna do? But a lot of times, you always hear that, oh well, he has a family. Well, he's not thinking about his family. He's not thinking about bringing an STD home to his wife. He's not worried about the stress and the humiliation and the shame that she's gonna have to go through, because her husband's sneaking around on her back, and or should or how it affects their children. Because just face it, if you're having an affair with somebody else, that's time you could be home with your children, helping them with their homework, or just keeping them out of trouble by planning activities or going to their activities, or time you could be spending home like with your wife. So so a lot of times it seems like men do not really comprehend that females are, especially like in this neighborhood, are the ones that actually are raising the children. They're doing 95% of the raising of the kids, only because the men aren't there for a lot of reasons. Either they're not there because they're with another woman, or they're not there because they're in jail, or they're not there because we have a society now where men are geared to stay pre-adolescents. They're still playing on their toys, like iPhones, or like whatever those um, Xbox at home, or whatever games they play, whatever they're called. I don't have any of them, but they're busy playing those games. They're busy. They have to watch their sports, so they have a lot of activity to keep them away from the family. Uh, uh, um, and if you're away from the family and you're around other folks, all the time, then yeah, you can have um, get insensitive, selfish when it comes to uh, uh, how you feel about yourself compared to the rest of the world. So it's so the Bill Cosby of the world. And now I have to admit, I didn't watch Bill Cosby, and I think the one time I did see some of the sitcom because everybody was talking about it. I thought it was terrible, and like a lot of the shows that was like in the '70s that was very popular, I thought they were terrible. Like Laverne and Shirley, I thought they sucked. I thought they both were not very talented. There was a bunch of shows, but you have to remember at that time they only had like three channels: ABC, CBS, and NBC. Was it right? ABC, CBS, NBC. That was it. And so you had those three TV channels, and so whatever they played over and over again, it's sort of like some songs on the radio. They played enough, and it it gets stuck in your head. Might as well see what's going to happen. But I thought this show was unrealistic, not funny. Um, I thought a lot of the shows that they had in the '70s had some undertones of propaganda tones that separated the family in a sense. Really, like the kids, you don't see them with the parents like doing real activities and stuff. It's I don't know. I just Well, I don't know. Well, there's some shows like the little, I guess, like before the '70s, like the Little Rascals and stuff. They would show like the kids never with their parents, West Side Boy. So a lot of it, I think they were the propaganda is to separate the family. In some ways, I mean, in some ways now in 2017, we see where family is, sort of separated. People are still getting married, but they're getting divorced just as fast. Um, and because of a work situation, um, um, especially during the early development of the childhood, they're not getting it as much. Like here, bipolar and schizo is more. It's the norm. If you're not that, you're crazy. And it's the norm because of the way the parents treat their kids. All the whooping, the teasing, the they don't teach. They tease. They're not nurturing. They're hitting. They're not, you know what I'm saying? Um, and it's not like really, you have to have a lot of time to teach kids 15 to 20 minutes. You just sitting down, and even if you don't know how to do it, sitting down with them, going over it with them, and reading them, and helping them make a choice, and like it's all about reading and comprehension. And most parents to comprehend, you know, more than their child is. Like say your child is 8, they only been here 8 years. Say you're 28, you got 20 years on that kid to comprehend. So anyway, I don't know. So I see that we have a society with Bill Cosby where children really don't have any rights, especially females. They're going to be faulted because basically he's a rapist, and it seems like a pedophile at that, or he will go there. And now that he's just old, we're supposed to feel sorry for him, but where is our empathy for the children? Where our empathy for the teenagers? Where our empathy for young adults for in their 20s? You know, um, I remember like a few years back, there was this guy. I guess he had did some time for like sexually abusing some 14-year-old girl. I think he did 4 years. And anyway, so he ended up getting married, and the girl and lady ended up getting pregnant. Yeah. And somebody was like, "Oh well, now he's gonna learn his lesson. He has a daughter. That'll teach him." And I guess years later, um, um, the wife and him separated. He was sexually abusing the daughter. So, um, he didn't learn. Oh, I have a daughter now. Now I know how it feels. It is just that he had no feelings for females. The females was just an object, just like a chair or a car. Something that he could utilize. And you know, and I think Trump said it. He said, "Oh well, when you're rich, you could grab them by their pussy." I think I got all the braids out. And basically, that's what a lot of rich people do. Their parents will bring to them, like with Michael Jackson. Their parents was bringing them there. Those kids didn't know what was going on. They might have had parents that told them, like in detail what's going to be expected of them, so they would act right. and go along with the program. But the kids weren't responsible, and the adults were. Um, so anyway, so I guess I don't know why they had a mistrial. Um, I think a lot of it is the judge. He's saying that there were only certain people he was going to allow women. He wasn't going to allow enough testimony. A lot of times the judges are biased too, because a lot of times you know um, men in some ways have think that they have a right to possess, own, torture, humiliate, embarrass women through so they could be sexually gratified. You know, and the thing is that like this book, I'm gonna have to ask that girl for the name of it again. I forgot. It was Mary B. Morrison, I believe. I can't remember her name, but anyway, she wrote and it was like all sex, all sex. It was almost threw up. She said she really likes it. Almost threw up there because um I was like you knew this girl was a prostitute. You knew he's spending all this money on prostitute, and he's over there, having oral sex with her. And then at the end, he finds out that he's been having AIDS, uh, and because the woman just had a child that died from complication of AIDS, and he's married to another lady, and has of course he has another other women, and the biggest problem was his biggest scare, which he was going to commit suicide a few years earlier because he thought he might contact AIDS. But and then you could tell, especially once they get a sexually transmitted disease, the parasite of that sexually transmitted disease, be it AIDS, syphilis, gonorrhea, or whatnot, uh, um, is hungry for those fluids that come when the guy's masturbating, or it comes when when you're having sex. And those are the fluids that these parasites thrive on, and and since they enter your bloodstream, um, um, that they travel all over your body, and there are some case studies where you can, from syphilis, get go blind, um, get dementia, um, and die. But since the parasite has been around such a long time, it tries to live as long as it can, and it can stay in the body quite a long time, feeding off of and once it's in your bloodstream, I guess it feeds off uh, mostly that fluid, but it still demands um, the to be fed. So anyway, it's sort of weird. But eventually, when it enters your bloodstream, and it enters all different cells, brain cells, your bones. It could deteriorate bones, and but anyway, it could be a terrible thing, and people do get sick from it because it enters all your organs, and and then and we all know the terrible consequences of HIV. Um, but each one of these uh, diseases, women get detected more often, will be detected that they have something more often, and get treated for more so than men. Um, uh, um, and the crazy thing about it is, when this time he was crying, was like, but before you could tell that um, he wasn't thinking about it. He wasn't caring. It was just mainly about the self gratification, you know. I think that's what happens with a lot of men. We teach them to be selfish. We teach them to be bullies. We teach them to have narcissistic tendencies, because if you're a caring person, and um uh, um if 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 you're, you know like, in a sense, if with those type of tendencies, you can't really be a caring person. Um, Separation anxiety is real, so a lot of times they tend to, especially if they're on like some type of drug, like crack or something, they seem to think separation anxiety, which is the pain, that's like, oh, that's the love then, you know, um, uh, and so they don't like to be separated, and plus it becomes a dependency too, that men have, not only for the sex, but a lot of times, you know you know it's just emotional stability, or sometimes it's easier to continue to have multiple women by saying, I have a wife. Especially if you have a good looking wife, you're like, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? So you could hold it up against them. And I would say, you got a fat ugly wife, you could, you could make that woman think that she might have more of a chance, you know. And the other, and there's a lot of men that really, you know, weren't raised to be self-sufficient, to be independent in the sense of, you know, uh, like cooking and doing domestic stuff that, um, any that you would have to do if you live by yourself anyway, regardless. So, but it's a lot of, it's not seeing women as really a productive part of their life. It's more like, it's a competition. But anyway, I I, I I I just think that the whole idea that Bill Cosby uh is not going to do any time for his crime, and like his lawyer's like, oh, I was a Bill Cosby friend. Well, the show sucked. Um, and I only gauged it by it's supposed to be a comedy, and I didn't laugh. I sat there. If you take the commercials out, it was like 20 minutes, and I didn't laugh. So that, that's how I judged that, and it wasn't funny. Um, and therefore I didn't like it. If it was gonna be, but a lot of people, they loved it, and they watched it, and but I don't correlate him being an actor to him, um not being a rapist or a pedophile, or just a plain old rapist. I don't see, you know like his shows, um um that he did, you like, a lot of people, they get confused, the actor uh with the person. And I think that, like Woody Allen, of course, I don't think Woody Allen ever did a sitcom, so there was nothing to take out. He married his adopted daughter, and there must have been a relationship going on for a while. But it 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 and it's not really so much the double standard as it is that there's an illness in the world when it comes to respecting women. There's an illness in the world when and I think in a lot of places, third world countries, Muslims, in the Middle East countries that are doing quite well, it still holds them back. It holds them back, and I think it keeps them in a place to where they cannot, um, mentally, uh, grow. That you get, we get stuck and stagnated. Men do, Like at like it's like they're at whatever age they, I guess, like if a man tells me, oh, first time I had sex is when I was like 12 or 13, I know emotionally he's still there, and there's nothing I can do about it. And there's many men that he could have giggles and laugh with on that same level. But we do have a problem with our men not respecting their bodies, that with our men not respecting their humanity, and with them not seeing the bigger picture on how more prosper, more healthier uh, that we could be if you accept a woman as you would want someone to accept you. If you know, as long as we treat people um, as less than, as something to make a profit off of, um, something to objectify. Yeah, you know, we will always have a sickness in the world. You know. Anyway, that's what I think.